All right, I'm going to try and explain how the top 1% have completely rigged the housing system in Australia. And the first thing to say is, yes, it's a lot harder to buy your first home than it used to be. Over the last few decades, house prices have grown much faster than wages. 20 years ago, if you worked for a living, a house was worth about 4 times an annual income. Today, it's worth about 8 times the annual income. Basically, working hard is not enough anymore. Here's the secret. The top 1% don't get rich by working. They get rich by buying and selling assets and making the most of a rigged and cooked tax system. So when they buy and sell a property, they only pay tax on half of the profit, thanks to the capital gains tax discount, the CGT discount. Now, the CGT discount is legit the most unfair tax break on the books in this country. It costs the budget $22 billion a year, and 60% of the benefit goes to the top 1%. So if you go to work as a nurse or a cleaner or a tradie, you're paying twice the tax than a big property investor pays on the same amount of money. And that's not all. They can use the equity and the profits to buy more homes. The more homes they own, the more homes they can buy, and the more out of reach a home becomes for you. Then they use the mortgage repayments as tax deductions. It's called negative gearing, and it costs the budget about $6 billion a year. And if they're using a self-managed super fund, they get even more tax breaks. All of these tax breaks overwhelmingly flow to the wealthiest people in our country, which makes it so much harder for everyone else to get ahead. And if you're thinking, oh, it sounds a little bit unfair, you're absolutely right. It's completely cooked, and it's why it's easier for a property investor to buy their 6th home or their 60th than someone to actually buy their first home. Our tax system incentivises property speculation, which means that everyday buyers are competing with property speculators, which drives up prices. It means that homes, which should be a human right, are just an investment class. And the reason we're in this situation is because Labor, the Liberals, the Nationals and One Nation are in the pockets of the 1%. They take their political donations, they sip champagne with them on their yachts, they go to their expensive parties, and then they come into the parliament and they make decisions and make laws that benefit the 1%. This is the difference with the Greens. We are not owned by the 1%. We don't just want to tinker at the edges of a broken system, we want to fix it. And that means taxing the 1%. And the good thing about taxing the 1% is not only would we have way more money to do things like build more homes and put dental into Medicare, we'd actually level the scales in the housing market too. If we taxed property speculators properly, they might even have to sell some homes, which would free up more houses for renters trying to get into the market. There is just no good reason why we can't fix this broken tax system in Australia. Tax the 1%, phase out negative gearing and tax capital gains like we already tax wages. If we don't do it now, Australia's going to end up like the US, extreme economic inequality, and you and your kids will never be able to afford to buy a home. So how'd I do? If you found it helpful, let us know in the comments below. And if you'd like to join the Greens campaign to fix this cooked tax system and tax the 1%, hit the link.
Authorised by J. McCall, Australian Greens, Canberra.